Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Heading into the last stretch of the season, we are going to have to make some big moves in some of our leagues. We have to make some crucial adds, some tough drops, but smart moves overall. In some leagues, we're sitting pretty. I feel very confident we just have to maintain, not screw up too bad, make the number of starts we need to, start the right players. You get what I'm saying. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Cheese Weasels this week. We are still in 4th place and still have 112 points. Very disappointing because, 2-3 weeks ago we were in 1st place with 131 points. But I digress. We still have several weeks left. Not terribly worried, but definitely need to regain the lead in some of our pitching stats. And we're falling further and further behind in the hitting stats. But that has been the case all season. The guys that did help me this week, Marcell Ozuna, he had 3 home runs and 4 RBIs. You are not hitting with anyone on base, and you are not doing yourself or anyone else any favors. Now, you have another big bopper in the lineup in Jorge Soler. So that means between Olson, Riley, Soler, and finally Ozuna, the Braves are even more formidable to get to the playoffs and be a dangerous team, as they were a few years ago. Someone else who helped me was Yordan Alvarez, who had 5 home runs and 8 RBIs, so hitting with a few people on base. He also added 7 walks, so that was a great addition to that stat category. Tyler Glasnow had 13 strikeouts and had 1 win for me, so that helped me, but didn't really help me gain any spots as I'm already leading in strikeouts. Now for the guys that didn't do well for me, overall, the team itself has been very cold. Has not been doing much of anything, has been subpar. I don't know another way to say we've been bad over this last month. Obviously, losing many spots and many points in this Roto League. But I'm going to read off a few players with their hits for this past week. We start with Lane Thomas. He was 2 for 22. Pretty sure you contributed 1 run. Maybe. Trey Turner, 6 for 31. Not the worst in the world, but you have very similar numbers of walks and stolen bases. You only have 14 stolen bases, and that's frustrating because you're a speedster. These increased base sizes were supposed to help you. Anyway, let's move on. The next person, Bryson Stott, 2 for 18. You have had a very cold month. You're hitting, I think, like 215, between 215 and 220. Definitely need you to step up. Aaron Nola, you, sir, got me 2 losses, had an ERA close to 6. That's not helping me any. Someone else who's very cold over the last month, Ryan McMahon. You have hit 119 over this past month. You have collected 8 walks, I think 2 stolen bases, 8 RBIs, 2 home runs, and a few more runs. Obviously, that's not doing it for me. The worst player for me this past week was Camilo Doval. You blew a save and you were demoted. So now we're going to move to the adds and drops, and this is a list and a lot of repeated names, so we're just going to read them off. The adds included Sean Manaea, Shea Langeliers, Nick Lodolo, Jock Peterson, Joey Estes, Mason Wynn, Martin Perez, Matt Waldron, Tyler Alexander, Austin Wells, Colin Ray, and David Festa. Obviously, you can tell that I was trying to get back into the wins, into the strikeouts, into the ERA and whip lead. I just caught a bunch of L's. Speaking of L's, the following guys caught L's for my team because they were released. Jose Quintana, Ben Rice, Sean Manaea, Bryce Terang. That was probably the toughest one of all of them because how are you going to throw away 30-plus stolen bases? That's frustrating. Nick Lodolo, Joey Estes, Jock Peterson, Martin Perez, Matt Waldron, Tyler Alexander, and Shea Langeliers. Now we're going to move to the Kent Murphy Dingers, one of the most frustrating leagues I'm in this year. I lost 3 categories to 7 categories. The frustrating part, even more so this week, was that Monday through Saturday, I was leading. Going into Sunday, we were tied 5 categories each. And I was thinking, I am in 8th out of 10. This guy's, I think he was in 2nd or 3rd. But he's got double-digit wins, so like 11, 12, 13 wins, something like that. So, and I know it's not him, like the person actually performing, but his team definitely should have been doing a lot better, especially if you're saying that you're one of the top teams, or if your record indicates you're one of the top teams. Now I know, even if blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, I get it. But that was just funny to me that it took him literally up until the last day, which it doesn't matter if you're leading Monday through Sunday. It doesn't matter if you're leading the very last game and then you get a stolen base to help you win. It doesn't matter. A win's a win. But I just thought that was funny. We were close in strikeouts. We lost by 2 strikeouts, and I think what really helped him was Spencer Arrighetti Spaghetti getting that 13 strikeout game against the Red Sox. This wouldn't have been his first double-digit strikeout game, but I just thought that was very odd that he had such a good game. But he wasn't really smart with some of his starts. He started Warren for the Yankees, who got lit up. He started Birdsong his first start of the week. He got lit up. So there were definitely some questionable decisions that he made when starting individuals. But in any case, a win's a win, a loss is a loss. And let's go ahead and talk about some of the guys who helped me. So did have a lot of help from Contreras and Holiday. Both had 2 home runs and at least 4 RBIs each. The frustrating part was I did sit Holiday in one of the games. I sat CJ Abrams in one of the games, and I missed out on 2 home runs, and I lost by 2 home runs. Speaking of home runs, I do want to touch base on the fact that the person I was playing had Kyle Schwarber, and he pretty much helped him win the entire week. He had, I think, 5 home runs and 10 RBIs or something. So, literally won him the home runs, won him the RBIs. And that's, again, frustrating. Matt Olson had 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. So, he was making home runs count with people on base and also getting them around, even if he wasn't necessarily hitting it over the fence. Tyler Fitzgerald had 5 stolen bases for me. That was huge. So now that Lane Thomas has forgotten how to play baseball since he moved to Cleveland, Tyler Fitzgerald has taken his spot. The following pitchers all had great stats, so I do not want to leave any of them off. Logan White had 12 strikeouts and 2 wins for me. Flaherty had 10 strikeouts and 1 win. Manaea, 10 strikeouts and 1 win. And Myers, 0 earned runs over his 7 innings pitched against the Reds, but got no run support, and that cost me a win. I lost by a win. So things would have broke a little better for me. That would have been great. But again, a win is a win, a loss is a loss. Now let's talk about the guys who did not do well for me. Alec Bohm. Dude, you have been great all season, but this week you got 2 runs and 3 RBIs. I definitely need more from you. It'd be nice to get a home run. Also, CJ Abrams. I missed out on a home run, missed out on some RBIs, missed out on stolen base. But I did play you when you got me 1 RBI. Thank you. Lane Thomas, you played and were able to get me 1 run and a .091 batting average. Come on, man. The relievers definitely did not do well for me. Had guys giving up runs, hits, obviously raised my whip, my ERA. Not good at all. Jason Foley, Matt Joyce, and Craig Kimbrell. Started Hayden Birdsong, his second start of the week. He got lit up, so really could not win for losing this week. We're going to go ahead and get the adds and drops. This is another list, so we're going to read them off. The adds include Sean Manaea, Tyler Fitzgerald, Martin Perez, David Festa, Hayden Birdsong, and Ryan Walker, who took over for Camilo Doval in the Giants organization. The drops include Jose Quintana, Sean Manaea, Jeffrey Springs, who I probably should have kept, Luis Ortiz, who I probably should have kept, Cade Smith, who promptly gave up runs after I picked him off, and Tobias Myers. So this brings me to a record of 4, 12, and 2. I am in 8th place out of 10. I think there's like a 0.00001% chance I make the playoffs. There's still 3 games left. I am 3 games out. Again, I'm not saying I'm going to make the playoffs, but there is a miracle of a chance I could. I don't anticipate it. I really don't. But, I mean, at least leaving that door open just a tad. Now we're going to move to the Funky Junky Joker Monkeys. This was a pretty nerve-wracking week. The first, 3 days of the week, I was losing pretty big, like almost 150 points. Because the person I was playing started like 7 or 8 pitchers, and I only started like 2. So come Thursday, I started like 4 pitchers, and I started another 2 or 3 pitchers, so on and so forth, up until Sunday, where he had 4 pitchers going, which was going to put him 1 over the limit, and I only had 1. He had some decent guys. They weren't like world beaters, but like we said previously in this show, even the blind squirrel can find a nut sometimes, right? So there was definitely room for me to lose. The only person I had going was Christopher Sanchez, who has been one of the biggest disappointments. And I go back to thinking, at the beginning of the season, I had an offer, Nolan Jones and Christopher Sanchez, for Jordan Walker and Sonny Gray. I should have taken that trade. I digress. So, this week, he had 4 pitchers. I had 1 pitcher going on Sunday. I only had a 10-point lead, so you can guess what happened. I won 475 to 453. Huge game from Jake Burger. I picked him up late and he came up huge for him. The leading scorer for my team this week was Bailey Ober, who got me 30 points, followed by 2 pair of asterisks, Jose Altuve and Jeremy Pena. They got me 28. Flaherty got me 27. Bryce Miller got me 25. And I had 6 other guys get at least 20. So between 20 and 25 points. That was phenomenal. Again, my top scorer only had 30, so I really had a team effort from the rest of my guys. The guys who did not do well for me, though, thank goodness I didn't need him too much. Christopher Sanchez, he got me a whopping 5 points as he lost to the Diamondbacks on Sunday when I need him. Pablo Lopez forgot how to pitch and only got me 4 points. Lane Thomas got me 2 points. Cutter Crawford got me .67. Now, you know, I don't normally say the fractional points, but I had to say it, .67. Nolan Gorman got me negative 0.5 points. And Jacob Myers, the asterisk player, got me negative 1.5 points. You can trust some and you can't trust others. Actually, I can't trust any of them. Especially Bregman, who's having a breakout, 6-week span. And of course, I've played him in multiple leagues when he's on this breakout, so that sucks. Let's go ahead and move to the adds and drops. The adds did include J.J. Bleday, Martin Perez, Joey Estes. There are 2 athletics right there. That's crazy to think about. Jock Peterson, Jake Burger, and Ryan Walker. The adds did include Jake Myers, Luis Rengifo. That breaks my heart, dude. He was my go-to player. He was the guy I was absolutely going to be depending on, but it is what it is. Kyle Freeland, who has since got hurt, Joey Estes, Tyler Alexander, and Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz has been a cheat code for me this year, just like last year. We had Minaya, we had Jacob Junis, we had Pavetta, we had some of those guys. Luis Ortiz was that person. He has moved to the rotation, and he did well the first few times, and then he's forgotten how to pitch, unfortunately. But in any case, we are sitting pretty right now. We're in 4th place. We are 1 game out of 2nd place. That's how close these top 4 teams are. The top 6 go to the playoffs. So again, we're sitting pretty. I feel good about it. I would love to get one of the top 2 seeds to have a bye. Now we're moved to the Peach Creek Purgatory team. This week was absolutely frustrating for me. I was playing against the number 1 team in the league, and wasn't really anything spectacular. I was leading by a good number of points. I really want to say I was leading 50 or 60 points. And I just had the worst luck. That's really what it was. The worst luck on Sunday especially. I lost 938 to 919. That 19-point difference, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you now, we definitely should have made that up. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I get it. If this were to be a playoff situation, I probably would lose my mind. So let's go ahead and talk about the guys who do well for me. Austin Riley got me 69. Nice. Matt Olson got me 63, and Eugenio Suarez got me 56. Now, for the guys that didn't do well for me. First of all, Mauricio Dubon. When I played him, he only got me 4 points. When I didn't play him, he had a home run and ended up getting me 12 points. So of those 19 points, 12 of them were on the bench. Okay. I also started Freddie Fermin instead of Danny Jensen. Danny Jensen got me 12 points. Fermin, I think, got me 4. So there's another 8 points. Boom, I win. Just like that. Nolan Gorman got me 5. DeYoung got me 1. When I didn't start him, I think he hit a home run for me, so go figure. Just like tonight, Wednesday night, I didn't start him, he hit a home run. That sucks. Okay, so JoJo Romero, he got me 4 points total for the week. But he did have an outing where he got me -3. Okay. Cool. So, Jimenez, for the Braves, had total -3. He had 2 outings, which he got -2 and -13. He had an outing where he got 12 points. Do you know how frustrating that was? He got me -15 on his own. So between Jojo Romero and Joe Jimenez, you know how many points that is? Hold on. So 3 and then 2, so that's 5 and 13. That's 18 and that would have put me still losing by 1, and I think I might have lost my mind a little more if that would have happened. Oh, no, wait. That is just if they wouldn't have played at all. So literally any points from them would have won me the game, would have won this for me. This is the face of frustration. The adds and drops for this week were pretty short. We added Freddie Fermin and Tyler Alexander and dropped Joey Estes and Mitch Garver. I tell you one thing, dude, Mitch Garver cannot hit the broadside of the barn. He can walk like crazy, but he's hitting like 160, 170. God bless, that's lower than MJ Melendez. But in any case, the playoffs. This is where we are. We're currently third. Top 4 make it. Third, fourth, and fifth all have a record of 12-7, so there is absolutely no breathing room. I feel good about my next 2 opponents. The final week opponent could offer up some issues, but there is one week where one of the guys I'm playing or I'm fighting for one of the spots, 3, 4, or 5, one of them plays the number 1 team. So I'm hoping that number 1 team does in fact win. So that gives me a little bit of breathing room. If that's the case, as long as I win out, I'm in the playoffs. But again, we got to win out. We're fighting 2 other teams who have the exact same record as us. I think I own the tiebreaker with one of the guys, but I don't want to leave it up to that because I've been burned by that, and I personally don't want to have to win strictly based off a tiebreaker. So we will now move to the South Harmon Institute of Technology, where we came with a big win this week. 12 categories to 3 categories to 3 categories. This is huge for us because it actually did move us up a little closer. I think last week we were 7 games behind. Now we are 3 games behind playoff spot contention. That's great. We're currently in 5th. The top 4 teams go. Last year, this was a league where we got to the playoffs, beat a few teams we weren't supposed to, get to the championship game, and lose off of a tiebreaker. Because Ty went to the highest rated seed. I had the 2 seed. Guy I was playing was no 1 seed. We tied with 8 categories. So very frustrating. So very mad. But here's the thing. Win 3 games or make up 3 games in the next 3 weeks. We're going to playoffs again. We can avenge our loss. But before we get to any more playoff talk, let's talk about the guys who helped me win this week, because we're going to need them to stay hot. Matt Olson, 16 total bases, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Francisco Lindor, we had 12 total bases, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base. No home runs and still had double-digit total bases. That was great. Brent Rooker, 11 total bases and 1 home run. So you did pretty good there. And Freddie Freeman, 10 total bases, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. And then also, looking here, Tyler Glasnow, 1 win and 13 strikeouts. Very glad I drafted you. Very upset I didn't draft you in the Kent Murphy Dingers. I had you. Could have kept you as, I think it was an 8th round or 10th round keeper. Point being, start your studs, keep your studs. And now for the guys that did absolutely no favors for me. Pitching-wise, Seth Lugo, Andrew Abbott, and Kyle Freeland. Terrible starts. Did not have my ERA, did not have my whip, did not give me wins. Cold at the plate. Not only for this week, but for the past month. Lane Thomas and Bryce Turang. Those guys have been so disappointing for me. But they both have, I think Lane has 28 stolen bases and Turang has 32 or 33. How can you not want to keep those guys? That's so much potential. But if they're not hitting, they can't get on base and they can't steal the bases, right? In any case, let's go ahead and move to the adds and drops. There were some disappointments here. People who I added who didn't do well for me. People who I dropped who had done great for me, and I had to cut bait. The ads include Kyle Freeland, Tanner Houck, Martin Perez, Zach Neto, Taylor Ward. Super excited someone dropped Taylor Ward. I love Taylor Ward. He's done great for me. And Eugenio Suarez, who has come up huge for me these last few weeks. Well, last week and then this week so far. The drops also did include Jose Quintana, Kyle Freeland, Rengifo. Oh, that one hurt so much. JJ Bleday. Tobias Myers, that one really hurt too because he's done so well for me. Pitching for a really good Brewers team, but just almost like he can't get, well, I say not almost. He did not get any run support against the Reds this past week, so it cost me a win. And then, unfortunately, we also had to cut bait with Hunter Renfroe. I'd added him and thinking he was gonna, he had been doing well, but I tell you one thing, man. Whenever one person in that Royals lineup does well, it's not Hunter Renfroe. When Hunter Renfroe does well, the rest of the team doesn't do well. So, in any case, that was part of the drop. We are sitting at a whopping 158, 127, 57, like I talked about. We are very close to the playoffs. We just need to win a few more games. I feel like we will. We're going to make this, 3 games I guess up. We're going to make that up. We're going to get to the playoffs, and we're going to do our very best. Speaking of doing our very best, that's pretty much all we can say for the Russell My Jim Jams team. Y'all are trying. Not much, but y'all are trying. We lost this week, 10 categories, 4 categories to 2 categories, bringing our record to 114, 149, and 41. Lots of 4s in there. However, not enough wins. The person I was playing, I think he was one of the top teams. He literally doubled my stats. So, let's talk about it. I had 6 home runs. He had 12 home runs. I had 17 extra base hits. He had 34. I had 21 RBIs for the whole week. He had 54. Cool. I had 3 stolen bases. He had 7. Hits-wise, I had 59 hits. He had 89. I know that's not double, but that's 30 more hits. Dude, you got almost 50% more of my hits than I did. Like, what? So, no one did well. I did not have anyone hit more than 1 home run. Real Muto led my team with 3 extra base hits. Abrams did have 5 RBIs. So thank you, sir. That was about it. I had Lowe and Altuve. So Nate Lowe and Jose Altuve. You had 4 walks each. Again, that was good. And then we had 1 win from Bryce Miller. Now for the guys that did poorly. Pretty much everyone. Okay? Everyone I didn't name did poorly. Let's go ahead and get the ads and drops. We added Hunter Renfroe, Martin Perez, Willie Castro. He did decent for me. Mackenzie Gore, who had 6 walks in 3 1/3 innings. Andrew Haney. Added him. Yep. Now the drops. Trevor Meagle, Hunter Renfroe, Hector Neris, Clayton Kershaw, and Matt Vierling. Do you know how dumb I felt when I dropped Matt Vierling? I was like, oh, he's playing this game. Oh, he hit a home run. He had 3 RBIs. Cool. That was a very quick rundown of the recap. We're in good position for some of the teams. We really are. And others, we're just killing these last 3 weeks, There are a few people who you might want to add to your team who can help you kill these last 3 weeks, hopefully getting to the playoffs. Junior Caminero was finally caught up by the Rays. First game he played in this past week, I think he got a hit. He went like 1 for 4 or something like that. He's going to have a learning curve, okay? He's been doing well. He's been in the IL a few times in the minors, but he is definitely a hot prospect. If he's available in your league, go ahead and pick him up. What's the worst that can happen? He does well. He doesn't do well. At this point in time, he's going to get regular playing time in Tampa. They have a few other guys they can start at the hot corner, but Caminero is probably going to be the guy. Someone else, Zebby Matthews for the Twins. He pitched the other day. He went 5 innings, got the win and 5 strikeouts. He did have a 1 whip, a 3.6 ERA, so not terrible. Was playing against the Kansas City Royals, so that's not a terrible lineup. You have DeYoung. You have some guy named Bobby Witt, Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia. Like, you have some names. Hunter Renfroe, who we added and hasn't done much for us. So they have some names. They just can't always put it together. But Zebby Matthews might be someone to be looking at. If for some odd reason he's available in your league, Jason Dominguez, finally reinstated off the IL. the Martian is going to be called up at some point in time here for the Yankees. He's definitely going to have a spot in the lineup because they need another bat. They need someone to do well for him. So if you have any shares of him, or if you can grab some shares of him, let's go ahead and knock that out. Let's do it. A few guys that are coming off of IL as of recently. Jeffrey Springs, he's made like 2 or 3 starts. Not been the sharpest, but actually pitched very well against the Orioles this past week. Taijuan Walker. I'm not saying that he's going to be good. He didn't exactly light it up this past week in his first start back. But, I mean, playing for the Phillies, man, you're going to get some run support. As long as you don't, like, get blasted, you could be an option. I mean, you're no longer, like, the flame-throwing strikeout person you were when you're starting your career in Seattle. But, again, man, it could be a cheap win. Very cheap win. A few other hitters that are doing big things. Jake McCarthy has finally remembered how to hit after a season and a half. He was hitting 280, 290 2 years ago. Forgot how to play last year. Forgot how to run the base pass. And as of this past, 3 weeks now, he has been tearing it up. And another hitter who just came off of IL has hit multiple home runs. Kerry Carpenter. He was one of my favorite players in Detroit. Definitely think he's going to be doing big things. Obviously, 2 games back, he's hit 3 home runs. Look at him. And if you're looking for saves, 2 guys from teams that might get you a win here and there in the save opportunity. Ryan Walker for the Giants and Lucas Erceg, however you say that guy's name, traded from the Oakland Athletics over to the Kansas City Royals. Again, could potentially be some guys who are stepping into the closer roles, doing well for teams that, again, they're not horrible. They have some playmakers, obviously some decent pitchers, some guys who can, get on the base paths, run around, hit some home runs. I mean, they have those guys. So, I mean, if you need saves, if you need holds, that could also be something. I mean, depending on the high leverage situations, they could want their better players in. That's going to do it for the recap. So hopefully your team's doing better than some of mine. We obviously still have opportunity to make the playoffs in some, and we are, again, sitting pretty in others. But we have got to continue to make the right moves, make the right plays, make those crucial drops, make those crucial adds. Once we get to the ship, unless you're helping us, you got to get off the team. This is JK. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.